time.
intro it?
What if you intro it? Hey guys, Rob's gonna intro it. Should I give you a countdown?
I'm trying to think of something I could say.
Think of something clever, real clever. Quick. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure.
Ragman's Jewish.
Oh God! Well, that's a fact. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
Ragman is Jewish. The DC character Ragman is indeed of the Jew variety.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something for a good cold open.
Yeah? I'm already recording.
I figured that. But good evening, everyone.
Hey.
And welcome back to another edition to Fear the Ink.
Fear the Ink, that's
the
us.
podcast.
The podcast.
Where we just read creepypastas and hope they're not bad. Mostly they've been bad so far.
They've been pretty bad so far.
They've been pretty bad so far. But hopefully this one's not complete garbage.
Hopefully, it's a 7.5 at crispypasta.com.
Of the Krispy Kreme meter?
Oh, the Krispy Kreme meter.
Yeah, 7.5.
We're reading this story out of crispiness from now on.
How crispy
crispy
is this cream?
Oh, please tell me about cream.
Today we're reading Garbage Strike.
Hi. Okay, bye.
By Dark Myth.
Awesome.
And I guess, am I starting it?
It's up to you, man.
I guess I will start it.
Okay, go ahead. Your turn.
Forwarded, dangerous cover-up.
Oh, please.
T.
Mr. T?
I hope it's Mr. T.
Are you going to read this as Mr. T?
I think the next one is
you're right.
T.
You're right.
Because it's... Okay, so it says... I'm guessing this is an email.
Yeah.
By the way, this is set up. Because forwarding... Anyway, T. This one bears serious inspection. As usual recommended, we keep the specifics encrypted until we can verify the device's at best course of action. Don't want to start panic. N.
Neocortex. Guy's trying to kill Crash Bandicoot.
I think it's Neil Diamond.
Is it Neil Diamond?
I'm hoping this is Neil Diamond talking to Mr. T now.
That's a lot of glowy jackets. It's a lot of sequin jackets.
Rhinestone jackets. With frills on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But hey, he's coming to America.
All right. Dear N, thank you for getting back to me, fool. You have no idea how relieved I am that your group is interested in the information I've gathered. HTTP Wingdings. Oh, we're not kidding. If you guys are following us, it's just Wingdings.
I thought it was Russian.
No, it's Wingdings.
That's Wingdings?
Well, it's not Wingdings, but
it's just covered up blank. Redacted.
Yeah, it's redacted.
Redacted.
I'm just going to read this whole... Oh, wait, no, it's a long email.
This is a long one. Want to stop at... I'll take up as I explain and then go for the next big one.
Okay, you'll take over it as I explain?
I'll take over it as I explain.
Okay. This Onion Share folder contains all my case notes, recordings, and photos. I've been sitting on this for more than 2 years now. His legs must be numb. Not knowing what to do with it. You also asked for a chronological account of my experience? Well, here it is.
As I explained in my initial email, I am a print journalist of almost 30 years' experience. My specialty is industrial and labor marketing issues. I'm also very single.
Oh.
Prefer long walks on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And occasionally a white Russian.
Oh. What have you... take over. Let's do like chunks of two, and unless it's like really long.
Yeah, it kind of goes... It's
like an actual letter.
Yeah, like an actual letter. So back in 2015, I was doing this piece on industrial action.
Action!
Won't bore you with the specifics, but in the course of my research, I learned about the garbage strike that occurred in the city of Redacted back in 2008. It seemed extremely relevant to my article, so I flew out to do some first-hand in-depth research.
At first, it seemed like your typical blue-collar worker strike. The sanitation workers were demanding safer working conditions and a rise in hazard pay. After 4 days, the city council and union reps seemed to have reached a compromise. But then the following week, the entire sanitation department for the borough was laid off in one fell swoop, save for the most executive officers.
The whole thing reeked of a cover-up, but on a scale I had never seen before, especially in such a non-sensitive field as public sanitation. I scheduled interviews with dozens of former sanitation workers who had lost their jobs. I asked each of them why they thought they had been let go. None of them could give me a solid answer, but they all had they all had their theories.
Game theories.
Some believed that it was an overzealous effort to purge the department of union corruption. Others speculated it might have been a cover-up of some unknown dangerous design flaw in the borough's garbage trucks, which could have potentially left the city open to a massive class action suit. I even heard tongue-in-cheek whispers that it was about covering up a demonic curse that had been placed upon the department.
Is that foreshadowing? Does that count as foreshadowing?
That's a lot of either foreshadowing or I want to say front-loading. As to what we're going to get.
We're going to get. The most useful thing I gained from my interviews with these former sanitation workers was an insight into the motivation of the strike. I discovered that in the months leading up to the strike, there had been a shocking spike in the amount of work-related injuries among the borough's garbage collectors. 39 separate incidents requiring hospitalizations, many with little, if any, cogent explanation, and 7 fatalities, not counting the collateral deaths that occurred when one garbage truck driver suffered inexplicable head trauma behind the wheel and subsequently crashed his truck into a crowded diner. Oh boy.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody play Symphony of Destruction.
That drive.
Did.
Several of the non-fatal injuries were attributed to the attackers by homeless people or an unspecified animal, which I immediately considered odd. 1 or 2 attacks of this nature I could buy, but to have so many attacks in such a short space of time, something didn't feel right. This city doesn't have enough hobos to commit all these murders.
Unless this was like the city from like Mother Russia Bleeds.
That's a lot of hobos in there.
Or like Hotline Miami. I have 2 theories.
What's 2 theories?
It's either a Chupacabra or Alf.
Probably Alf.
It's probably Alf, right? All these he ran out of cats, now he's after human flesh.
Yeah, right. I started tracking down the survivors of these injuries. I was amazed at just how many of them had moved out of town. In the end, only managed to corner 3 of them, who still lived locally. None of them wanted to talk. They seemed frightened.
I think it's because you literally cornered them with like a sharp object in your hand.
And they think, oh no, another hobo.
They ain't gonna take my hobo turn. I'm gonna die on my hobo hill.
So now this is an entire town of hobos.
It's hobo. That's why it's redacted.
Hoboville.
The town's name is a hobo. It moved. It got on the railway and it just left.
Is the mayor a bobo?
The mayor is a bobo of the hobo. A bobo mayor of the Hoboville. I tracked down the partner of one of the garbage men who had been killed. He told me the disturbing story of how it happened. It was just another day on the job. He and his friend were collecting trash in a quiet residential laneway. I'm gassy. All right.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. His back was turned. Then suddenly he heard, as he describes it, the most ungodly sound it was. It was like a scream or, I don't know, a roar. Like a pig being stuck with a knife, but huge. Like a really huge, gigantic pig, I guess.
It's like a pig being stuck. Not just any pig, a huge pig. Like a really huge pig. A gigantic pig.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Big, huge guts.
I don't know anything that could have made a sound like that. It was followed by the sound of a trash can being violently knocked over. He ran around the truck and checked on his partner and found him lying in a growing pool of blood, with the jagged base of a broken bottle jammed into his neck. He was gone before the paramedics even got there.
Wait, is this Manhunt? That PS2 game, Manhunt?
That'd actually be pretty cool.
That right? What if these people are just stuck in a manhunt?
Yeah.
Alright. The guy's story made the hair stand up on my arms. He's shankophobic. I didn't know what to make of it, except that the guy was being completely honest. I asked him who or what he thought killed his partner. He had no ideas. All he could tell me was that by the time he ran to the other side of the garbage truck, whoever had done it had vanished without a trace.
While I waited for other leads to pan out, I used my reporter Wiles.
Who's Wiles?
Wills?
Wiles.
Wiles?
Yeah.
That's Wiles?
Yeah, they're using it wrong.
That's, yeah. Wiles to sneak into the sanitation department office and spoke around for more clues. Anything that could give me insight into the strike, the union negotiations, and especially the mass layoff.
It's a Sunday after all.
And my computer is saying something in response.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just going to exit the page. No, it's...
Here. Oh, he's got it.
My two most interesting... Oh. Now it's gone.
My two most interesting
discoveries were a copy of a current edition of the Garbage Collectors Rule and Regulations Handbook and a hacked email from the Sanitation Commissioner that had been sent the day before the mass layoff was announced, both of which can be found in the online dossier I provided.
Ooh. I provided... Okay,
I got it back.
Quoting the email, the only adequate option I can see for stopping the spread of dangerous rumor within our ranks is a complete simultaneous turnover of the department's entire staff, with the most minimal interaction between old and new workers that we can possibly manage. Another quote, most of the people involved seem too scared to talk. But just in case, I recommend we have our lawyers draft the case for a gag order, in case anyone suddenly decides to make a fuss.
This confirmed my theory that the layoff was all to do with cover-up. But what dangerous rumors were they trying to silence? The email was frustratingly discreet in that regard. The Garbage Collector's Handbook, on the other hand, turned out to be more crucial to this mystery that I ever could have imagined. Most of it just as you'd expect, but under the health and safety chapter, you'll find very prominent advisory,
yeah,
encompassed by a bold red border. Health alert, highest priority.
Raccoons suffering from rabies have been discovered in local trash receptacles. If you should encounter an organic gurgling-like sound or a low, labored moan coming from a trash can, do not approach it. Instead, phone animal control at the number provided below immediately and vacate the area, even if there are other trash cans nearby that you have not yet emptied. My gut told me that there was something fishy about this alert. A few phone calls later, I had learned that the CDC had no record of a local rabies outbreak, nor had the Fish and Wildlife Service registered any notable increase in the local raccoon population. A ranger I spoke to was puzzled by my references to gurgling sounds and low, labored moans, as they didn't seem like types of noise a raccoon would typically make, rabid or otherwise. This is the gritty reboot of Sly Cooper.
Yeah. Let's say, this story's a little weird.
How's it weird?
It feels like it's going fast.
I mean, maybe we're
reading it fast. No, it just feels like it's kind of going...
There's still a bunch to the story.
Yeah, no, but still, it feels like this is kind of going at like a really quick pace.
It is going
to me, at least. It's kind of just like... So yeah, I'm this guy who does all kinds of like labor work and stuff. Now all of a sudden, I'm doing research on this town.
Yeah.
I'm talking to people immediately.
Yeah.
They're talking about raccoons.
That's right, watch out.
And health issues and rabies.
Mm-hmm.
But someone's saying that's not the sound raccoons make. It just kind of feels like it's going a little quick.
I feel like it's going fine.
It's not slogging. Well,
nothing's happening yet.
Yeah.
Some guy got shanked. That's
by a hobo.
By a hobo. A hobo raccoon. It's a raccoon in a canvas jacket in a toboggan.
Stranger still, the phone number listed in the handbook, Animal Control, was different from the number listed for Animal Control in local phone directory. I dialed the number, got a message service. Animal Control, please provide the location of suspected hazard of the crew, and a crew will be dispatched to you as soon as possible. A cold female voice briskly introduced before the standard beep.
I had my tech geniuses back at the home office trace the physical location of the phone number, It ran directly through the City Hall switchboard, which made no sense as animal control was based in a building across town. I spent the rest of the afternoon exploring the town for the best location to set up a sting. I eventually found a nice long laneway. Why do they keep using laneway? Laneway that would afford me a good 100 yards of unobstructed view. Then, the following morning, I parked my rental a good distance away and phoned the so-called animal control service yet again. This time, instead of simply hanging up, I gave them the address I had picked out.
Let me be clear. I recited the address and only the address. I said nothing about any garbage can. And then I sat there, watching through my telephoto lens?
Yep.
And waited. I could not believe what happened next. Less than half an hour, a hobo came by with a raccoon.
Oh, man, he's... Okay, so there's an old Marvel villain named Venom with 2 M's.
Yeah.
Before Venom. This was like the late 70s. And his whole thing was he always had snakes around his arms and his legs, and he would just shoot them at people. Alright? He was a Black Panther villain. And his whole thing, he was like Killmonger's henchman. And he would shoot snakes at people like Spider-Man shoots webs. I'm just imagining this hobo walking around with raccoons on his arms and legs. And he just rocket punches like freaking Gigantor.
Like I'm imagining now he's got these 2 raccoons on his fists as like boxing gloves, and they both have like rabies.
Yeah.
And he's just punching you like they're biting as he punches.
And his shoes are and his feet are like Voltron's feet, but instead of like lion heads, it's raccoon mouths going, eh!
So you're saying this guy should have been in the Black Panther movie.
That's right. But Eric Cartman already took the name the Coon. So they can't do this. It's my turn.
I don't know. I was because I was saying less than half an hour. I made the call. A single black gray town car quietly rolled up and addressed the question.
All right. The doors opened and out stepped 2 large men wearing dark glasses and pristine, unsoiled sanitation department coveralls. In my business, you learn to read body language, and I am dead certain that these guys were ex-military. I knew from the start that whoever these guys were, they weren't there to collect garbage, nor were they there to wrangle some 2-foot-long fuzzy critter. What?
How does this guy know all this?
He knows body language.
Yeah, but how does he...
Reporter Wiles. His Reporter Wiles.
Oh yeah, his Reporter Wiles. Who's this guy again?
He's an email. He was bitten by a radioactive reporter.
He was bitten by a radioactive Jimmy Olsen.
He was bitten by Detective Chimp.
Great Caesar's ghost.
Another door opened and out stepped a 3rd man, a late middle-aged guy wearing a priest's collar. The 3 of them walked over to a nearby trash can, with the larger men flanking the priest the way the Secret Service flanks the president. Oh, it's the Pope!
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. President Priest.
Pope Raccoon.
Raccoon Pope.
While the large men stood by, the priest kissed a purple stone and draped it around his neck.
Yeah.
He took a glass container out of his pocket, presumably filled with holy water, and lashed it all over the trash can and a sign of a cross. Then he began reading aloud from a book, presumably the Bible.
The Bible.
Throughout the course of the ceremony, he doused the can with the holy water another 4 times. When he was finished, the priest retreated back several steps toward the car, while the large men advanced on the trash can and cautiously removed the lid. After a quick visual inspection, they prodded the contents with metal poles they had brought with them, and apparently found nothing of interest.
This took a turn.
Yeah.
Are the trash cans possessed?
Maybe.
Are the raccoons possessed?
Are the hobos possessed?
That's a real question. The priest then nervously approached the can and doused its contents one final time in the sign of the cross. Then they replaced the lid, got back into their car, and drove off. The entire incident lasted about 8 minutes. I provided a complete photo record in my dossier. I was astounded. I had no idea what I was dealing with, but the way those protesters and protectors in the coveralls behaved made me uncomfortable. Guys like that don't get nervous, unless they're dealing with something that is seriously bad news.
I realized that whatever was going on must have been tied to the original string of injuries and deaths that occurred under the old sanitation roster. So I went back and searched for any other incidents that might have been missing from my list. I cross-referenced death, murder, and attack with garbage and trash. And that is how I came up with the tragic story of young Martin Redacted. On Sunday,
Oh, God.
On Sunday spring afternoon back in 2006, 9-year-old Martin Redacted left school on foot and never arrived home. 11 days later, his practically naked, severely battered body was discovered in a garbage can on the other side of the city.
Okay.
Well, that.
It's twists and turns, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I arranged an interview with the medical examiner who performed his autopsy. She revealed that the lividity indicated that Martin's heart was still beating for around 6 to 8 hours after he was callously dumped into the trash can he'd eventually been discovered in. Strange as it might sound, the medical examiner told me she took a measure of solace from that fact. She explained to me that, due to the nature of the massive hemorrhage in Martin's brain, he would have experienced those final hours as a warm, peaceful euphoria. This is some bullshit. Despite his appalling surroundings, he would have felt safe and comfortable as he slowly drifted off into eternal sleep, compared to the unimaginable horrors he'd endured over the preceding days. The medical examiner considered the nature of his death to be thankfully merciful. I'm inclined to agree that this goddamn fucking examiner has no idea what the hell she's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm getting beaten to death, but hey, my brain's naturally going soft.
Oh, man.
Redacted. I drove out to visit Martin's grave. Not really sure why. I mean, he's dead, so I don't know why I came here.
I don't know. I was looking for Martin Lawrence's grave.
I guess I just felt I needed to pay my respects to the poor kid. You know.
Yeah, you know.
And I guess maybe I hoped it would give me some sort of clarity. You cannot imagine a more pristine, well-kept monument with fresh flowers. His family had clearly not forgotten him. It was sobering. It was a sobering experience. Talking to the medical examiner.
She's an idiot.
Who's a dummy. But I still didn't feel like I was any closer to understanding what was going on in the city's garbage. So I started trawling?
Yep.
Trawling the streets around where those various attacks on the garbage men had occurred. I talked to locals, kids, anyone who would give me the time of day.
A lot of hobos.
The hobos, I mean. Just talk to the hobos.
Just talk to the hobos.
They'll give me the time of day. A lot of them told me about a sort of urban legend about a monster or vampire that had been attacking people in back alleys and hidden corners throughout the borough over the past 10 years or so. Some kids even bragged to me that they had a cousin or some such who had actually seen the monster. But refused to provide me with contact details. Still, you know the old adage. Every legend has a kernel of truth.
Exactly, the corn monster. I went back to my motel that night and began scouring through local police reports. Since 2006, the rate of violent street crimes, including unsolved mysteries, has skyrocketed in the city of
Redacted.
A staggering number of these crimes are being committed with weapons of opportunity acquired at the scene, such as broken glass or sharp metal fragments. Others seem to involve no apparent weapon and yet involve the use of far greater force than a normal human being would be capable of inflicting, to quote one report. Even more disturbing, I discovered that almost 70% of these unsolved crime reports contain the phrase, "taking out the trash." Wait, is Duke Nukem killing all these people?
Is this just a giant trash monster that's...
The heap!
Is this like a Swamp Thing but with garbage?
Yeah, the heap.
and he just goes from garbage can to garbage can, just killing
Yeah,
wrongdoers.
there's an old comic book character that's called the Heap, who is exactly that.
He's just a heap of garbage.
Yeah, he was the inspiration for Swamp Thing.
Okay.
No, what was the name of the trash monster? Was it Fraggle Rock?
Oh yeah, there's a trash monster in Fraggle Rock.
It's the monster from Fraggle Rock. This is Fraggle Rock fan fiction.
Wasn't he a good guy?
I mean, maybe he lost it. He went down to Fraggle Rock.
Maybe he's been spending too much time with the hobos.
Oh no, them hobo juices.
As I was documenting my latest discoveries and thoughts in my field journal, I heard a loud ruckus out behind my motel room.
The motherfucker ruckus.
Like someone kicking over a trash can. I got up from the table. I nervously went into the bathroom because I knew it had a window that opened and into the rear of the motel block where I heard the noise. I chose not to give myself away by turning the bathroom light on. Trying my best to remain silent, I carefully crept through the dark until I reached the window frame. I opened the narrow sliding pane and peered out into the black night. I could see nothing aside from the partially illuminated building across the way. Then after a few seconds, I went to bed.
Oh, okay. In the end.
I began to notice this strange sound, an eerie sort of gurgling.
Then a man with raccoon fists attacked me.
There was a man with raccoon fists just scaling the wall like a spider.
Oh, like a spider raccoon.
And then all of a sudden, there was just webs shooting from the raccoon's mouth. And he swung away into the city.
He's called the Manticore. Immediately recalling the warning. God damn it, now you just gotta imagine it's just Spider-Man, but he has raccoon hands. Immediately recalling the warning in the garbage collector's handbook, I carefully backed out of the room and closed the bathroom door behind me. This is supposed to be terrifying, Robert. All I'm seeing is...
Did I ruin this for you?
All I'm seeing is raccoon fist.
I'm just imagining raccoons that now have the ability to shoot webs out of their mouth.
What's even more terrifying? Just a man with raccoon fists? Or just rabid raccoons who will immobilize you using their spider webs? It's like something out of The Mist.
We've created an even larger monster that we can't contain.
We can't contain. This is a dark... This is like... Okay. Alright. Okay. Raccoon Voltron. Where was I? Okay. I closed the bathroom door behind me. I remember staring at the fine wooden grain of the door. Oh, what a luxurious sounding door. As I stood there anxious and confused about what I should do next. A few seconds later, I was startled by a loud bang, followed by the sound of shattering glass just behind the door.
My head darted to the knob on pure instinct and turned the latch to lock it. I stepped backwards, and as slowly as a slow sequence of sounds that I can only describe as Wet Beats by Dre.
Hey, hello, it's me, Aquaman. I would like to introduce to you my new line of headphones, Wet Beats by Atlantis.
Like someone slapping a hard surface with a damp towel.
Or a damp surface with a hard dick.
Drew closer and closer.
It's just walking. It's like great. Now in my exactly in my head, it's a giant duck. Mallard. It's a
mallard. There was something in my bathroom. I was terrified. The beats stopped.
Why is it in quotations?
The beats
Oh.
stopped. As in, you know the band from Doug? The Beats?
He opens the door and they're all just
And then
in
just
there.
ooh-wee-oo.
Ooh-wee-oo.
Killer tofu. Just on the other side of the door, a soft scraping sound slowly made its way from the top of the door to about halfway down. Then nothing. Suddenly, there was another deafening bang.
Bang.
As the door practically jumped right out of its frame, yet somehow managed to hold firm. Whatever was on the other side was bashing against it with incredible force.
I raced out of that motel room without a second thought and jumped into my rental car parked right out front. I floored the gas as I tore out of the parking lot, right across the four-lane boulevard in front of the motel, without even thinking about checking for oncoming traffic. Almost got wiped out by a coupe. I stopped there, my engine still running, directly opposite the hotel. I had a full 180 well-lit view of the block. Wait, what? Wait, what?
I had a full 180
Well-lit?
well-lit view of the block in front of me.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, he had like you have a 180-degree view in front of you.
Oh, like, okay, just your field of
He's
vision.
just got a really good field of vision. He could see what's in front of him.
His FOV is at 100.
It's just, you could say he can see what's in front of him.
Okay, that's fucking weird. Okay, well-lit view of the block in front of me and a good 30 yards of warning of anything approaching from that side.
So there's just warning signs?
That's beep.
I phoned 911 and told them that someone had broken into my hotel room. It was the longest 4 minutes of my life, waiting for that squad car to show up. I still wonder if I was truly alone in that car. Whether the wild breathing I remember hearing was just my own terrified self, or there was something else. When the cops arrived, I followed them into the motel and directed them to the right room. The door was still wide open, just as I had left it.
The officers told me to wait outside, but somehow I felt much safer following the two trained professionals with guns drawn than waiting alone outside in a dark parking lot. The first thing I noticed was that the bathroom door had been busted wide open. The strike plate had been torn right out of the frame. The bathroom side of the door was scratched to high hell, as if a tiger had been using it as a scratching post for the past 12 months.
It said it was raccoons.
Oh, I told you, man.
As one of the officers advanced into the unlit bathroom, I cautiously peered over the other shoulder to look inside. The sliding pane of the bathroom window had been knocked to the floor. Its frosted glass broken into a sea of shards, which scrunched beneath. Can you say that 5 times fast?
Which scrunched. Oh yeah, you gotta pause after that.
No,
which.
Sea of shards which scrunched beneath the officer's shoes.
Sea of shards which scrunched under the lead officer. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right? That's a mouthful.
That's a tongue twister.
The Windows fly screen had been torn to shreds. Looking at the window, I could not accept that anything of considerable size could possibly have entered through such a narrow gap. Even a master contortionist couldn't have crawled through that window.
Raccoons.
It's literally...
It's gotta be raccoons.
It's gotta be a raccoon.
It's gotta be Raccoon Fist.
As the second officer panned his torch?
Oh, this guy's British.
Just made it British.
This is made out of British. I smell the tea.
As the second officer panned his torch around, we all noticed what appeared to be 2 sets of strange footprints, entirely of Duke, since it was wet.
Mallard feet. The Adventures of Raccoon.
That was the wet beats.
The Adventures of Raccoon Fist and Mallard feet.
There would be 2 sets of footprints running down the wall and across the floor, one leading in, one leading out. This really is just raccoons. They were smeared upon the pale beige floor tiles in what looked like a sludge of grime and dried blood. As they... I really am just imagining he smears a Duke.
Wait, by Duke you mean poop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
As they crossed into the motel room proper, their foul brown sediment had been ground deeply into the carpet fibers.
Duke!
God damn, this guy just came in and smeared poop all over the carpets.
Hey, Rob.
What?
What's that smell?
Dookie.
Dookie. The footprint led to and from the room's small dinner table, where my laptop was still running and open on my word processor, just as I had left it. I walked right past the laptop when I had followed the officers into the room, but only at that moment did I notice the layer of filth smeared all over the keyboard. Ew.
Ew!
Ew. Ew.
Put poop all over my laptop.
Poop on my laptop. I leaned in to look at the screen and felt my blood run cold. Yeah, because there's poop all over here. At the point where my own notes cut off, there was now a new block of text, which extended well beyond the frame of display. Rob, it said,
Go away, 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 go away.
go away, go away. That was the absolute limit for me. I packed up my belongings, got in my car, and drove straight to the airport. I booked the first flight home. They didn't have anything till the morning, so I spent the night sitting in the middle of the wide-open departures lounge, where I could keep watch over my entire surroundings and be sure nothing could sneak up on me.
See, this guy's smart.
That's right.
Oh man, weird shit broke in my house. Get me the fuck out of here.
I'm out.
I'm out. Mark my words, as long as I live, I'll never return to the city of Redacted. I closed the book on that entire article I'd been writing. I tried to forget all about what happened that night, but the truth is, I never really stopped thinking about it. Then I guess by chance of my sources tipped me off about my associates for a few weeks ago. So I figured, what the hell, maybe I can help. You know, I hadn't looked at any of my case files for over 2 years since that night in the motel. But after getting in contact with you, I decided to browse through them again, and I discovered something new in my field journal file that I hadn't noticed before.
I guess the computer must have autosaved a file between the break-in and when I packed up my laptop and hightailed it out of there. Because, shall we say, additions that have been made to my own notes have been saved along with everything else. Anyway, at the very end of the go away, go away, go away, go away block, which extends uninterrupted for 8 pages, was something I'd missed before. Go away, tell them to go away. It was only once I'd read the full message that it occurred to me just how juvenile the phrase go away sounds. You'd imagine that an adult who wanted to drive someone off would use much firmer language. Go away is the sort of thing a young child yells when throwing a tantrum.
Wait. Oh, it's not a tantrum.
Ooh.
Oh, and you kind of missed something with the go away part.
What?
Tell them to go away. Tell them to go away. Tell them all to leave me alone.
Oh, this thing. That cuts off here.
That cuts off for you?
Yeah, let me see. Let me make this.
Because, yeah, if you want me to show you.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, it does say that. Yeah. Anyway. Mr./Mrs. N, I'm telling you this because I suspect you're one of the few people who won't think I've lost my mind, but I believe that young Martin Redacted is still wandering the streets of Redacted in some manner, at least, and he is seeking sanctuary in the last place he ever remembered feeling safe. A trash can.
Oh.
Because, you know, when I was a kid, I felt safe in a trash can.
I mean, yeah, I felt safe in bookshelves. I was small enough I'd crawl into a bookshelf, like into the little nooks. And I would just sit there. I was like a cat.
I feel safe in my toy bin.
We have the opposite of claustrophobia.
Anyway, it all fits. You hear about cases like this all the time. Yeah, you know, cases of just kids dying, becoming
trash ghosts.
Yeah, you know, kids dying in trash cans. They come back as poop raccoon monsters.
Poop raccoon, Martin Raccoon Fist.
Martin Raccoon Fist. Cases like this all the time. Survivors of extreme trauma, like Martin Redacted, went through. They became so traumatized they refused to let anyone approach them. Doctors, nurses, police, counselors, even their own mothers. And whenever someone does try to make contact with them, they will lash out violently.
You want me to finish this off?
Want me to read the next one and then you can take the rest?
Okay.
I think whatever remains of Martin Redacted understood that I was a journalist and wanted me to warn the city to stop disturbing his peace. But realistically, what can I do? Submit an article proclaiming that there was a ghost haunting the garbage cans of trees up, and that their city council had been covering it up for the past decades. There isn't a media outlet in the country that would print anything so absurd.
You should call the BPRD.
Yeah, right.
But all the same, something has to be done. Someone has to get the word out somehow. Because I've checked, and the deaths in that city are still happening. More brutally than ever before, as a matter of fact. The residents of
trees down
are risking their lives every time they go near a trash can, and the poor fools have no idea until it's too late. I hope you can help them. Credit to Dark Myth. Thoughts?
It's not that terrible.
It's actually not terrible. I liked it.
I kind of wish there was a little bit more, though.
Yeah, but it's like, it fits the creepypasta, like, that's it.
Yeah,
Kinda.
it's just like, there's a rumor of this city. You don't know this city.
Redacted. Trees
City,
down.
City of change places.
More bungee cords. But, okay, I need you to rate its crispiness. How crispy is this creepypasta?
Out of 10, I give it a crisp factor of 7.
7?
7. I'll
Well,
say it's a little bit above average. You know, it's a good crispy.
compared to everything else we've read.
Compared to what we've read, this isn't terrible. Like, I will say it's written well.
It was going somewhere.
It was going somewhere, but then kind of cut short.
I feel, yeah, the length doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
It has good ideas. It has... Nothing was really going on until the motel room.
Yeah.
I felt like a tinge of thrill and tension. A tinge. Even though in my head it was a man with raccoon fists.
It was a light dab.
Yeah, it was a light
Yeah.
dab of it. And, you know, who is Mr. and Mrs. N. Nye? Bill Nye? Is that it? Bill
Is it
Nye the
Neil
Science
Diamond?
Guy? Is it Neil Diamond? And we'll never know, because this is it. And what is a 7? What's a crispy? What actual thing has the crisp factor of 7 in real life?
Real life, a crisp factor of 7?
Yeah. What's something you'd eat that is a 7 crispy?
I would say, like, I want to say, like, maybe a fresh croissant at like a Stop and Shop or like a BJ's.
For me, a crisp factor 7 would be one of those mochi balls covered in sesame seeds that have like the red bean inside of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what those are called, but I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I liked it. Hey, I've already picked out next week's story.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I have a list of stuff. Okay, so link to this story will be down in the description. We'll be back next week. Actually, we had a bit of a kerfuffle with the weather and stuff, but it's all good now. Apparently, the winter's not going to try and kill us anymore. I'm happy about that.
Same here.
Especially Rob. He's got a bunch driving.
Yeah.
Okay, well, next week, it's my turn to pick a story.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see you guys next time. Be good. Watch out for raccoon fist and mallard feet. And, like, oh, Rob.
Yeah.
You got any suggestions? You got any recommendations?
Recommendations?
You got anything for us?
Oh, yeah.
What you got for us, buddy?
Oh, yeah. I've been reading a book.
Yeah, what
that
you got?
You guys would probably be interested in.
Yeah.
If you like horror, I highly advocate reading The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yes, from Archie Comics.
Yes, the Archie Comics. It's the Archie Comics Sabrina, written by. I have the book here. Story by Roberto Aguirre Sacasas and artwork by Robert Hack.
Robert Hack.
Very great art.
Very good art.
Very amazing art. It fits the tone perfectly. It's basically Sabrina the Teenage Witch, as in Archie Comics Sabrina the Teenage Witch. But this is done more as a horror comic.
Yeah, it's like more like a gothic horror kind of deal.
Where she's like a legit Satanist.
Yep.
Prays to Satan and sacrifices goats.
And what is up with that villainess with the skull eyes?
Oh, that's Madame Satan.
She's really creepy. It is legitimately Madame Satan, yeah.
Yeah, Madame Satan.
But I really like it. I read it in singles and it comes out whenever it feels like it. I'm so jealous that you have the trade.
Yeah, I picked the trade up.
Does it even say volume 1 on it?
Yes, it says
Yeah, well,
One on it.
it'll turn. Volume 2 will come out when.
Book 1.
Yeah, book 2 will come out when you retire.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, this does take a long time to come out.
It does. It takes.
Because like when I picked this up at Comic-Con last year.
Which Comic-Con?
New York Comic-Con. I picked this up at New York Comic-Con last year by the artist Robert Hack.
Yeah.
And he says like, yeah, these recently just came out.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And this was like 2017. I think the series came out in like 2015.
It was 2015.
Yeah, 2015
Yeah.
it started.
I have a bagged and boarded issue of number 1 in here somewhere.
Yeah.
But hey, we might make that a thing. We got a little stuff to talk about. We don't just read crispy pastas.
Yep.
But all right, guys, have a good night.
So then, yeah.
Yeah.
Good night. And stay away from your garbage.
Stay away from your garbage. Don't sleep next to a garbage can because your hand, when you're asleep, it'll come out of the bed.
And if you see a hobo with raccoons for fists, try and keep your distance.
Run. I mean, you can try and run, but
his webs will
enroach you. The sinister web of Raccoon Fist.
Yeah.
It comes for us all. See you next week, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.